marketplace. It's the Big Jim Ripoff search.
These fitness clubs are above the law.
Angry customers.
It's criminal. It's criminal what they're doing.
Questionable charges that can go on for years.
It's underhanded, it's sneaky, it's wrong.
We go inside the fitness chain with the most complaints.
You really want to do that? It really is. I don't even understand why.
It could be more than $500 million if the fitness industry's taken from consumers by back billing and overcharging. Right. Want to talk to you a bit about your business?
We're looking for fitness club ripoffs. We set up a marketplace survey and we ask you to help. You do, big time. We've been flooded with responses to our Big Jim ripoff search.
I was pretty pissed, and I called them up and said, what the hell is this extra charge?
Every time that he called, he kind of got the runaround. 6 months later, I noticed on my bank statements that they were still taking money out of my account. I was appalled.
And the survey says fitness chains are overcharging Canadians in huge numbers. How bad is it? Well, almost 90% in our survey say they cancel their gym contract the way it's supposed to be done. But they keep getting billed.
You feel like you've gone through their procedures, yet you're still being charged.
Sheer frustration with not getting any answers, losing a lot of money.
The fitness industry in Canada is worth $2 billion a year. And in our survey, it generates lots of complaints about lots of different gyms.
Don't forget that section, that's the gym name.
But there's a clear winner in this rip-off race. Stay tuned, because later, we'll reveal the fitness chain with the most complaints from you. And we'll track down the man behind that chain. Norm Jazoriansky wants to get in shape, but not for a fight like this. Now, he's had it up to here.
This is something like my 20th time going to court. 20th.
When Norm quit his gym, he canceled in writing. Guess what? The gym kept charging him for years. He says he's out $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed 52 under this cryptic acronym PSC, and I didn't know what it meant. Like everything else, right? It's got, the phone, FIDO, Visa, ABM withdrawal, check, right?
Norm spent years in small claims court in Toronto and nearby Brampton, fighting to get his money back. The good news is, he's won. The bad news? It's been more than a year since that victory, and the gym still hasn't paid it.
When it happened, I was jumping for joy. I thought the whole thing was over. But apparently, when a judge orders you to do something, there's a whole lot more that you can do in terms of dragging your feet.
Norm's a fighter, but this battle's taking a lot out of him.
I'm just hoping that this is it. I want to walk out here with my $2,000.
$2,000 on the line. Years of complaining. Yet the trials of Norm Jazoriansky continue. Our survey hears from hundreds who've had bad billing experiences with gyms. So we conduct a national poll on fitness chains, the first of its kind in Canada. An incredible 39% of people polled who joined a fitness club say they've been overcharged. So we do some math. We estimate that over time, the fitness industry has taken more than $500 million through unauthorized charges.
Honestly, I almost feel like these fitness clubs are above the law.
Danielle Marchese is a school teacher in Burlington, Ontario. She's learned some hard lessons. Danielle quit her gym more than a year ago.
I read my contract. I knew what it said. I canceled it within the deadline.
But the charges still keep coming. She's driving to her gym. Danielle wants real answers, face to face.
Sometimes it happens people have unauthorized payments coming out of their account. So I thought, okay, I'll pay by check. That won't happen to me. I'll pay in full.
Yet, just like Norm, these inconspicuous PSC charges appear on her bank account. $12.86, twice a month.
Why not just write their full name? Why not? What do they have to hide?
At first, Danielle thinks it's some kind of administration charge from the bank.
They said, it's not us, it's your gym. I said, I don't belong to a gym anymore. And they said, yeah. And they actually were not surprised, because I guess it's happened to lots of people.
6 months and counting. Dozens of phone calls. The gym owes her $200. They say they have no proof she's ever canceled.
It's only $200 I thought, okay, just forget it. It's just not worth it. Now it's the principle that matters.
So, she's booked a meeting with the gym's manager.
I've got a feeling of dread driving over there.
We're going in too, with a hidden camera. Turns out, the manager is a no-show. So Danielle talks to a sales rep.
And I gave her all of my paperwork, the cancellation paperwork and all of that. And I haven't received anything. I'm really frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then, the rep admits there have been cancellation problems.
I've looked on the internet. I know that this has happened at this club.
Right. Yeah. And it has happened, and I'm not going to sit here and play like it hasn't. It has.
Oh boy. What a complete waste of time that was. I just can't believe it. Every single time there's always some reason why I never get to speak to someone. And I don't know what to do about it. I mean, I just don't know what to do. It's so frustrating.
Oh, one more thing. Danielle's problems are with the very same fitness chain as Norm, and she feels the same frustration.
It's criminal. It's criminal what they're doing.
Norm Jazoriansky might second that. He's back in small claims court. So, is the gym finally paying up?
Well, you won't believe it. I believe it, but you won't. They didn't show. So, you know, I'm going to have to come back to this lovely place that I love so much.
Another no-show? And still no dough? Norm's former gym could be held in contempt of court.
Like, look at this stack of paper. It's like, what a waste of time. What a waste of time and, you know, resources. It's like, so upsetting.
Mark Simpson is a former cop who ran the Hamilton Police fraud branch. He now teaches policing at Niagara College in Welland, Ontario.
Your heart tells you it's the right thing, but you know what? The criminal code says no.
Years ago, he investigated the chain that's made the top of the list in our Big Jim Ripoff survey.
We had reams and reams of information from consumers who had been victimized. I mean, that got our backs up and said, okay, is this a glitch in the system or is this fraud?
So, of the biggest fitness chains in the country, which one had the most complaints?
Mark, I'd like you to unveil the winner of this particular honor.
Coming up, we reveal the name of the fitness chain that topped our survey, and new information from someone on the inside.
The voice needs to be heard, and I'll speak for everyone.
As the Big Jim Ripoff continues. On the Big Jim Ripoff search, you tell us you're doing everything right, but the overcharging still won't stop.
This looks like a job for Mark Simpson. We asked the former fraud cop to reveal the name of the fitness chain which got the most complaints, almost 200, in our marketplace survey. Mark, I'd like you to unveil the winner of this particular honor.
Wow, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought, Tom? That's incredible. But you know what? It's not surprising.
Not surprising, because in 2004, Simpson spent months investigating Premier Fitness, the second largest chain in the country.
How would you describe what was going on? I would have to phrase or look at something like that as being purposeful.
He says police believed something suspicious was going on at Premier, but there wasn't enough for a fraud conviction.
We would have had to have proved that somebody in the company said, I want you to fix this because we're going to keep withdrawing money from these accounts. And if the consumer catches it, fine. And if the consumer doesn't catch it, money in our pocket.
In the end, no charges were laid. John Cardillo, a former bodybuilding champion, was CEO of Premier Fitness back then and still is. In the past, Premier's been fined for misleading advertising by the Competition Bureau and the Ontario government. And we discovered the province is investigating Premier's billing practices under the Consumer Protection Act. We want to find out more about how the company operates. But first, Mark Simpson has some advice.
Make sure you ask to pay in cash. How about that? Using cash for a change. And watch how many of them won't accept that.
So, we take a hidden camera inside 4 Premier Fitness centers. Can we pay for a full year up front in cash? We show Simpson what we find.
You just pay it in full cash, and then they won't touch your bank account. But to secure that rate, we need some kind of billing.
So when I pay this in cash, you just need a void check or something?
Yes, and they won't touch it. They will not go into your account for anything else until next year.
So they will take cash, but they prefer you leave your banking information, they say, to guarantee a good rate if you renew.
expired. Come, do you want a new deal? We'd rather just give you a great deal right now.
If I'm a member that wants to renew my 1-year membership that I paid cash for, I'll come and pay you cash again a year later. You still know who I am. I would hope that you have my mailing address and my name, and send me a notice.
We test out another Premier location and find out there's another reason why they push for your billing information.
If you leave billing, like, it works out better for us. It means we pay commission. Otherwise, like...
If we leave billing information, it works out better for you?
Yeah, because we get commission on ones that people leave billing information for. Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting comment. They get commission on obtaining billing information from customers. Not their money. We get commission on the information.
Right.
Something wrong with that.
It's really, like, kind of backwards. That's what we always say. Like, you think that the more money we get up front, the better payment we get on it. But instead we don't get paid anything.
They really want your
Yeah,
billing information.
they really, I don't even understand why. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
No, and it doesn't make sense to any of us either. You can't believe that. It's underhanded, it's sneaky, it's wrong. Is it criminal at that point? No, and that was our problem. Is it leading to something criminal? You tell me. Actually, the consumers could probably tell us.
In fact, many Premier Fitness employees contact our show, and we track down even more. All have similar stories, yet many are afraid to go on camera.
Most everybody that we had contact with at the end of the day were afraid to talk. Was there intimidation involved? I don't know.
Craig Thompson isn't intimidated. This former insider says it's time to stand up to Premier.
I figured, you know what, I don't work for the company anymore. The voice needs to be heard, and I'll speak for everyone.
Thompson spent 6 years at Premier Fitness as a personal trainer and manager.
When I hear those billing problems, it sounds like fraud to me. It's just not fair to the public at all.
Thompson worked at 4 different Premier locations. He saw that same pattern everywhere.
I started noticing some real strange activity. Like, I knew I sent up the request to cancel, but it just wasn't done. And it would just sit there for maybe 3-4 months, and then they would cancel it. It made no sense to me.
We meet another Premier employee who's still with the company, so we're not identifying her. She backs up Craig's claims, handing over cancellation forms that she says went to head office if these customers were still billed. We follow up. Not one we talked to got any money back. Tell me about it, says Sean Meehan. To get Premier's hand out of his pocket, he had to cancel his bank account.
Do you think there'd be more red tape regarding Premier Fitness and, well, I say Premier Fitness, but I mean gyms in general, just from having direct access to your account?
This university student has the paper trail to prove his case. Here's the letter canceling his contract within 10 days, just as the law requires. But those PSE charges keep showing up. The gym still owes him $187.
I actually thought my horror story might have been like a little unique to me, but apparently that's not the case.
Like many of you on our survey, Sean seeks help from his bank, but the advice he gets is not completely helpful.
The bank advised you to close your bank account rather than try to fix this problem?
Yeah, they fully said just the best way to get them out of your account is to close the account. And funny enough, in the line behind me, there was actually a woman who said that she was similarly ripped off by a gym, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah. What did you think when you heard that?
Well, it's a problem. It's obviously a problem, a widespread problem, so I don't know why they haven't done something to deal with it.
In our survey, many of you say you had to close bank accounts and cancel credit cards. Inconvenient? You bet. A solution? Apparently not. Sean receives a letter from Premier's lawyers.
When you pull it out of the envelope first time, you see barrister at law, then you see debt owing $1,300. That kind of catch your eye?
Yeah, it definitely caught my eye.
Premier Fitness kept adding up those monthly charges. They claim he owes them.
I guess this is like an intimidation tactic.
We discover the banks should be doing a lot more to help people like Sean. That's why we're taking a walk to Bay Street, to the head office of the Canadian Bankers Association. Maura Drew Lytle speaks for the banking industry.
Well, what is the recourse for somebody who's in a situation where they're being debited out of their bank account and they can't get it to stop? What options do they have?
You can go to your bank or your financial institution and you can say to them, I want this transaction reversed. And you have 90 days to do that, and then they will then go after the business's bank and get the money back that way.
We dropped this bit of news on Sean.
They're supposed to tell you that they can fix it for you and get your money back because you came in within a 90-day period. Did you know that?
Really? I did not know that.
And did anybody at the bank say that we can help you get your money back?
If they did, I didn't hear it, because otherwise I have my money.
Why aren't banks telling consumers or customers that they can do that?
They should be. That's unfortunate, and certainly I think if any bank was getting complaints where people weren't happy with the information they were getting, then they would look at, is there additional training that we need to do to make sure that our frontline people know these rules?
But the real issue is the company behind the charges. Time to talk to Premier Fitness. We request an interview with the man at the top, company founder John Cardillo. Premier asked for information on all the nearly 200 complainants in our survey that named their company. We tell them about Danielle, Sean, and Norm, but not the details of the many other cases we learned about. We want to talk about Premier's history of customer complaints. They keep stalling. So, we catch up with Cardillo on his way to work.
Hi, Mr. Cardillo. I'm Tom Harrington from Marketplace. Hi, we've had hundreds of complaints from former customers of yours about the way you do business. They've been charged for months and years after they canceled their contracts, and they say that you ripped them off.
Well, we've asked you to supply the information for us.
We've had this survey, as you know, on fitness chains across the country. Yours was the most complained about fitness chain in our survey by quite a wide margin.
Well, we have over 250,000 members, so I'm not sure what.
There are many chains with lots of members, and the complaints aren't nearly the same.
Well, we have 250,000 very happy members. Please provide the information for us. We're happy to respond. Thank you.
But that won't be the last we hear from Premier. Coming up, we finally get inside head office.
Isn't it possible that there's something chronic that's happening here?
Stay tuned as the Big Jim ripoff continues. On our Big Jim ripoff survey, Premier Fitness was named more than any other chain. A few days after our talk with CEO John Cardillo, Premier finally agrees to an interview. They invite us to head office, and this time, we meet Neil Proctor, Cardillo's business partner.
I'm disappointed in the picture that you're trying to paint of our company.
But we're not painting the picture. You are, in our survey. And so are the Premier employees we talked to. Remember Craig Thompson?
When I hear those billing problems, it sounds like fraud to me. It's just not fair.
He says he saw canceled contracts delayed or ignored.
We don't know what's going on, so we call the office and there's no answer. We don't get a response because I guess we're not really supposed to know.
We talked to close to 20 former and current employees, and many of them, several of them told us they left because of what they felt was happening, and the word they used for what was going on was fraud. They were very concerned about what was happening, that these cancellation forms were not being processed.
Well, first of all, I don't have the information I've requested to deal with the facts. I guess the prevailing thing here is we cancel 35,000 people per year. That's a lot. That doesn't indicate, to me, a company that doesn't cancel people. It's ridiculous. That's not the way you make money. You make money by servicing people, providing good facilities, getting them results. That's how you make money.
What about those PSC charges?
Why don't you indicate on your bank statements, for example, that this is a Premier Fitness charge?
What you're insinuating is that it's vague and people wouldn't notice it. My answer to that is that if you read your bank statements and there's something on there that you totally don't understand, you ask and find out.
Remember the way Premier only gives commission to employees who get your billing information?
Why wouldn't simply me joining a gym for a year with a check for however many $100 it is to join Premier be enough to earn the commission for that salesperson rather than having additionally to ask for this banking information in order to get that?
If an employee turns in an incomplete contract, we don't pay commission on it. Why would we? It's not complete. There's no intent ever to bill people improperly, to bill people without their authorization, to not process their cancellation. It's absurd.
So if people watching this and hear you talk about this, could they come to this head office and say, Mr. Proctor, please give me my money back?
If somebody has an issue, they go to the club first, they should talk to the manager. Okay? If for some reason they don't get satisfaction, they're welcome here.
But what we hear, Mr. Proctor, is they're not welcome here.
No, that is not
Gail or Sean ever canceled. Both say they quit in writing according to their contract and trusted that their club sent those letters to head office. Meantime, just days after we tell Premier about Norm Jazoriansky, he gets a check in the mail.
For getting $2,100, I should be jumping for joy, but, I can't separate the money from what I had to do to get it,